This video provides a summary of information extracted from a classified tape recording, purportedly created at Camp David, Maryland, between March 6 and 8, 1981, during a presidential briefing for President Ronald Reagan concerning unidentified flying objects, referred to in this video as UFOs, and the extraterrestrial visitation of Earth, referred to as ETs. In January 1981, Ronald Reagan, a former Hollywood film star, assumed the role of the 40th President of the United States. Throughout his tenure, Reagan exhibited a keen interest in UFOs, claiming to have witnessed UFOs on at least 2 occasions. He publicly emphasized the potential threat that extraterrestrials might pose to Earth's civilizations to Mikhail Gorbachev, the president of the Soviet Union from 1985 to 1991, if suddenly there was a threat to this world from some other species from another planet. We'd forget all the little local differences that we have between our 2 countries and we would find out once and for all that we really are all human beings on this earth. Examining the contents of the briefing Reagan received sheds light on the context behind these statements. Notably, Reagan survived an assassination attempt just weeks after this ET briefing in March 1981. Is this purely a coincidence, or does someone not want him to probe further into the ET situation? The classification of this information as ATS, or above top secret, underscores its utmost secrecy within the U.S. government. Stringent precautions, including unique containers, printers, and copiers, were implemented to prevent unauthorized access or copying of the material. The caretaker, a contract employee of the CIA with 31 years of experience, conducted the briefing. Apart from Reagan, he has briefed other presidents such as Nixon and Ford. However, for reasons unknown, Carter was excluded from the information loop. The material has been reorganized for clarity, presenting it as a cohesive narrative. The United States of America has reportedly been visited by extraterrestrials, ETs, since 1947. Moreover, evidence suggests that Earth has been visited for thousands of years by various races of ETs. In July 1947, during a storm, 2 ET spacecraft crashed in New Mexico, specifically, one crashed southwest of Corona, and the other crashed near Dattle. The first crash site near Corona yielded 5 dead ETs and 1 alive ET. Initially, all debris in extraterrestrial biological entities, EBEs, from the first crash site were transported to Roswell Army Airfield, Roswell, New Mexico. Subsequently, the debris and bodies were transferred to Wright Field, Dayton, Ohio. Ultimately, the deceased bodies were transported to Los Alamos, where special containers were crafted to prevent decay. The second crash site was discovered 2 years later in 1949 by ranchers, with the bodies in an advanced state of decay and partially scavenged by animals. In this second site, 4 dead ETs were found. The remains were also transported to Los Alamos, while the debris went to Sandia Army Base in Albuquerque, New Mexico. The caretaker confirmed that ET devices and flying craft are tested at Livermore and flown around Edwards but are ultimately kept in Groom Lake, Area 51, in Nevada. Both crashed spaceships shared a similar design, and the bodies of the ETs were identical, indicating the same species. However, compared to humans, they don't share similar characteristics at all. Their internal body organs, including the brain, skin, ears, and even breathing are different. Their blood wasn't red, and their eyes had 2 different eyelids, probably because their home planet was very bright. The live ET from the first crash, named EBE-1, was treated for minor injuries and transported to Los Alamos National Laboratories for secure accommodation. Despite lacking voice organs like humans, EBE communicated through an operation performed by military doctors and quickly learned English. EBE proved benevolent, aiding Americans in understanding items from crash sites and demonstrating the operation of devices, including a communications device. EBE disclosed that Serpo, his home planet, is in the star system Zeta Reticuli, part of the Alpha Centauri constellation, about 38 light-years from Earth. EBE's spaceship traveled this distance in 9 Earth months using a space tunnel, allowing faster-than-light travel. Before EBE died in 1952 from natural causes, he he initiated communications back to Serpo about the survival of himself and the death of his comrades, where they crashed on Earth, a request for rescue, a proposal for a meeting with the USA government, and a suggestion for an exchange program. Unfortunately, no return communication was received until after his passing. After years of tedious communication, since both sides had difficulty understanding each other's languages, the Ebens, inhabitants of Serpo, landed in Nevada in 1965, and America exchanged 12 military personnel for one of theirs. A team of 12 individuals was selected to go to Serpo, staying for 13 years instead of the initially planned 10. 8 returned in 1978, 2 died on the alien planet, and 2 chose to remain. In Serpo, inhabitants live between 350 and 400 Earth years. A day is about 40 hours, measured by the movement of their 2 suns in a binary star system. As such, there is daylight during their entire day, with the exception of a short time period where both suns hit the horizon. Their propulsion system has 2 modes, one for atmospheric travel and another for outer space, emitting low-level radiation harmless to biological entities. They do not use nuclear power. For more information about Serpo, which is highlighted in other documents, I will create a future video, so please like and subscribe if you are interested in such content. Besides the Ebens, other alien species are known to be visiting Earth. The 5 species known are Ebens, archcheloids, quadloids, hepaloids, and trantiloids. The Ebens are friendly, while the trantiloids are considered dangerous. The trantiloids are also called HAV, an acronym for hostile alien visitors. They can imitate humans, though they can look like blonde humans, they are actually ugly-looking insects. They are said to have been kidnapping humans since 1955, and, until the date of the briefing, they have abducted 80 Americans for medical and physical experimentation. Though no direct deaths have been attributed to the abductions, some of those abducted ended up committing suicide, and 5 of those cases have been documented. The United States managed to capture a live transovoid in 1961 in Canada, and it was in captivity until 1962 when it died. The United States openly investigated UFO sightings under Project Sign, 1948, Grudge, February, December 1949, and finally, Blue Book, March 1952 to December 1969. The original mission of the Air Force program was to collect and analyze reported sightings and incidents involving UFOs, determining if the information had any bearing on national security. About 90% of the analyzed reports were considered hoaxes, explained aerial phenomena, or astronomical objects. The remaining 10% were considered legitimate UFO sightings or incidents. In 1953, Project Gleam initiated its investigative detail, and certain sightings were reported directly under Gleam. Gleam was initially established in the early 50s by President Truman and later, by order of President Eisenhower, under the control of the National Security Council. The group assigned to handle this project was called Majority 12 or MJ-12, also later erroneously known as Majestic 12. In 1966, the project's name was changed to Aquarius, funded by Black Project funds within the intelligence community's budget. Project Gleam, later known as Project Aquarius, became a parallel reporting system for UFO sightings and incidents. Reports collected under Project Aquarius were deemed actual sightings of ET spacecraft or contacts with ET lifeforms. In 1966, during a meeting, MJ-12 decided that the Air Force should officially end its UFO investigations. The reasons were twofold: the United States had established communication with the ETs and felt their exploration was non-aggressive and non-hostile. Also, public belief in UFOs was increasing, and there was fear it could lead to nationwide panic if everything was disclosed. In 1949, President Truman established 2 secret commissions known as Adam and Eve. These commissions operated in secrecy without recording their contents. The Adam Commission's purpose was to explore the idea of disclosing some information about our knowledge of UFOs and the 2 crash incidents to the public. The Commission's findings included a statement suggesting that public opinion needed to be considered, as disclosing such information could raise moral questions for the American people. The Commission also believed that if disclosure were to happen, it should be accompanied by concrete evidence of the existence of extraterrestrial beings who had visited Earth. It was deemed that public awareness of these projects would jeopardize the future space program of the United States. Releasing secrets about UFOs and ET visitation would also cause panic among religious leaders globally. Therefore, MJ-12 decided that an independent scientific study of the UFO phenomena would be needed to satisfy public curiosity. The final official study was conducted by the University of Colorado under an Air Force contract. It concluded that sufficient data did not exist to indicate that UFOs threatened the security of the United States, allowing the Air Force to officially step out of UFO investigations. When the Air Force closed Blue Book in 1969, Project Aquarius continued under the control of MJ-12. This was done in secret without public knowledge. Investigators from the CIA and MJ-12 were assigned to military investigative units with orders to investigate all legitimate UFO sightings and incidents. These agents are operating at various locations throughout the US and Canada, collecting reports of sightings and incidents occurring on or near sensitive governmental installations. Many of these reported sightings have occurred over nuclear weapons bases, and the Air Force has initiated measures to secure the nuclear weapons from ET theft or destruction. MJ-12 is confident that the aliens are exploring our solar system for peaceful purposes. Just in case, though, the Second Commission set up in 1949, EVE, focused on the potential use of atomic bombs to defend against a space alien attack. Notably, it recommended accelerating the production of atomic weapons capable of being used in space. This was accomplished by 1959 to counter any potential space-based alien invasion. Parallel to this, the USA initiated several projects to study the ET spaceships and aliens covertly. The first project, established in 1949, aimed to collect and evaluate medical information from the surviving alien creature EBE-1 and the recovered alien bodies. This project medically examined EBE-1 and provided researchers with many answers to evolution theories. The next project focused on establishing communication with aliens, which resulted in the Serpo exchange program mentioned earlier. Two other projects involved test flying an alien ship and cross-technology between their space program and the information obtained from EBE-1. In their 1976 MJ-12 report, it was estimated that the aliens' technology was thousands of years ahead of us. USA scientists speculated that until their technology develops to a level equal to the ET's, which could be many hundreds of years, they cannot fully understand the large volume of scientific information they have gained from the ET craft. To protect all this information and the fact that the United States government has evidence of our planet being visited by extraterrestrials, they created disinformation operations known as Project Red Light. The aim is to make the public think that whenever they see a UFO that they cannot explain, it must be extraterrestrial in nature, instead of some being their own secret aircraft. The first person who helped the USA with this disinformation program is Mr. George Adamski back in the early 1950s. The disinformation was also facilitated through movie productions of UFO-related movies, including movies like The Day the Earth Stood Still and the movie Close Encounters. Do you believe that this briefing actually happened? Please leave your comments below.